Hello and welcome to Politics NY with Sky. Schneps Media is asking each candidate running for New York City office this year 3 questions in 3 minutes. And right now I'm here with Austin Shafran, who's running for District 19 in the City Council. That's in Queens. And he grew up in Queens and he's here with me right now. And let's hear, Austin, a little bit about your background and why you're running for Council District 19.
Thanks. Born and bred in Bayside, raising my two young sons, Mason and Teddy, with my wife, Jen, just a few blocks from where I grew up. My parents still live a few blocks away from me now. And if you want to know why I'm running, it's because of them. It's because I'm a frustrated dad. I'm concerned with how the COVID recovery hasn't reached every family, haven't reached every family equally. I'm concerned about senior services and what we're going to do to strengthen our area and help our community build back stronger and better and safer than it was before this crisis. And I have some unfortunate firsthand knowledge of how devastating it is. A few weeks ago, my entire family was diagnosed with COVID. My 2-month-old baby, my 5-year-old son, and it was devastating. But as battered and as beaten and as bent as we were not broken. We are hopeful because of the kindness and the generosity and the thoughtfulness that we've seen from friends and neighbors and family. And the reason I'm running is because I think city government can be just as thoughtful and just as kind and just as caring and just as compassionate. And they can figure out a way to help make our communities whole again, like our community did for me when we were struggling.
Wow, Austin, how did your 2-month-old, how did they even diagnose a baby?
With a very small Q-tip. It was harrowing experience. My son and I, my 5-year-old and I, waited in the car outside of an emergency room for 6 hours while my wife Jen took the baby in, and he ran through a battery of tests and because he had a high fever and they were very concerned about a number of potential side effects. Thankfully, he has been asymptomatic other than a slight fever, and everyone is fully recovered. But it was a very difficult period. It's a very helpless feeling. And I know what it's like to experience that. And I can't even imagine what families that don't have medical coverage, that don't have the support system that we have. And that's really a sense of why I'm running, because in this moment, we need to do a little bit more. We need to make life a little bit easier for those people that have experienced the devastation of COVID and the aftermath in our community, from businesses shutting down to parents being concerned over what's happening in schools, to food insecurity and transportation issues for seniors. We really need a new way, not just thinking outside the box, but reshaping the box to meet the unique needs of this moment.
Right. So, your race is pretty competitive with about 5 other candidates. So, what would you say, Austin, makes you the best candidate in this race?
So I've worked in government, I've worked in the private sector, and I've lived in this community my entire life. And as the father of two sons and as the son of two elderly parents, I have a deep connection, but even more importantly, a sincere motivation to do some good in the community that raised me. I've always been a problem solver, whether it's working in government, whether it's working in the private sector, or in our community, helping deliver thousands of masks at a moment when our community was lacking them. I've been an innovator, coming up with fresh ideas, because in this moment, experience does matter, but we also need new leadership. And we need someone who's going to be able to step up and say, the old way wasn't working. And if we continue to do the same thing again and get the same poor results, then shame on us. Government can do more. It can be more. It can be the place where nobody gets left behind. And then lastly, I'm a dad and I'm a son. And to me, probably nothing more important than I'd want to tell a voter. If you know what that means, you know what that means. And in this moment, we want someone that has that kind of motivation for our community.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you, Austin. Thank you for your time. And this was Schneps Media's 3 questions in 3 minutes. And I'm Sky with Politics NY.